All right, so we're continuing in Genesis 49, verses 14 and 15 about Issachar. And his name means recompense or reward. And we're going to see this is a good picture of us that we should be getting to work. Jesus told us that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And if you look at the life of Paul, especially, he grasped this idea that you and I have a very limited amount of time. We have one life to get to work, to lead as many people to Jesus as possible, and to help as many people who do believe in Jesus to trust him even more so they can enjoy the peace and the joy and being disconnected from this world, being hopeful for the new heaven and the new earth. So help them to experience peace and joy now. So it says this in verse 14, Issachar is a strong donkey lying down between two burdens. He saw that the rest was good and that the land was pleasant. He bowed his shoulder to bear a burden and became a band of slaves. Now, the word two burdens has also been translated as sheepfold or saddlebag. So let's look at each of these that you and I, let's look at the sheepfold first. We rest among God's people. We're here to protect the sheep of God. Jesus told Peter, feed my sheep. If you love me, feed my sheep. Get to work doing that, because the truth sets people free, protects them from the wolves in sheep's clothing. Also, you've got the reference to saddlebags, what it's carrying, and two burdens. I guess that's kind of a reference to saddlebags, but it made me think that, man, I do have two burdens. Number one, I want God to get what he should have, and God should be thanked by everyone and obeyed, right? Is it really hard for us to thank God for our senses that I can see, I can taste, I can feel, I can hear, I can smell? We should be thanking God for all the things that are right. Of course, we're in a broken world, but that's not God's fault. Sin broke this world. But man, people should be thankful. Everyone should. And everyone should be obedient to God. Like, man, God clearly has our best interest in mind. He made this wonderful world for us. He sent Jesus to die for us. So God, my first burden is that God deserves everyone, especially me. I should be thankful to God always, and I should be obedient to God always. My second burden is I want people to get what God wants to give them. God wants to give them his promises that they can have peace and joy. He wants them to pass the test of life. Life is a test of faith. Many people are failing, and they're going to pay the price of failing. Many people don't have wisdom. Wisdom will give everybody everything that they truly want. With it comes peace and joy, a good night's sleep, provision for what they need to do. Wisdom is the key to things, that everything that everyone wants. Jesus, or the Old Testament tells us through David, that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, he'll give us the desires of our heart. There is satisfaction for people, and that's what I want them to experience. I want them to experience the new heaven, the new earth. I want them to have hope in the new heaven and the new earth. And so those are my two burdens. I want God to get what he should have, and I want people to get what God wants them to have. And then it says this, that, talking about the bear the burden, or that we are a slave, a forced labor. Man, that's a good picture of that. Paul said that he is a bondservant of God. He's a slave of God. And that's really what we are. And we just need to hunker down and realize that I am here to get some work done, that I was bought by Jesus Christ. I am not my own. I was bought with a price. And that you and I should be just working for God right now. This life is not our own. It belongs to God, and we should be involved joyfully in this forced labor of trying to help as many people as possible experience God and help God get the glory that he deserves. So those are the two main points from this. And man, it's fun, and you live a life of purpose. We're going to have an existence that is free of pain for eternity. So let's get to work now. Let's get things done. Let's hunker down. And that's probably why a lot of people are involved in negative addictions and sin. You know that David was supposed to be at war when he fell into the temptation with Bathsheba. And so I think that's how it is with us. We are supposed to be working. We're supposed to be at war for God. And that's why a lot of people are falling into temptation, because they're not getting to work. And there's a huge reward. His name means reward or recompense. Issachar means that. And we should be working for our reward, which would be an eternity of thank yous to the people that we do help, the sheep that we do feed. So get to work enjoy the work, and enjoy the reward for eternity.